Hi, I'm Linda Fury, and I'm Director of Professional Development at Triumph Learning. Today, we're going to start off with a quote from Socrates. Education is kindling the flame, not filling the vessel. We're going to kindle flames today as we talk about questioning in the Common Core classroom. So you might say, what does a Common Core classroom look like? Well, you're going to see a lot of collaboration, a lot of children working together, talking together, communication. Throughout the day, the teacher is communicating with their students, her students are communicating with her and with each other. And finally, that wonderful critical thinking measurement that we address when we think about questioning our students and students asking questions of each other. So where do we begin with that sort of questioning? Well, we want to start with looking at what the teacher's job is as developing these questions. In the past, we used our basal text, we used our other information and resources, and we regurgitated questions to our students that were right within the story itself. Now we're asking our teachers to begin before they ever start a lesson to create questions that create an open response, that ask students to reason, to ask students to search for evidence and find important answers that's going to really deepen their comprehension. So most importantly, you want to ask those questions that are open-ended, and once again, you want to create those questions before you ever begin your lesson in the planning phase. What types of questions are there? Well, when we think about complex text, which I know that's an issue as our students are asked to read more difficult text, more quality text, text of higher quantitative level, and we ask them to create tasks and complete tasks that are more difficult. So as we look at these qualitative tasks in complex text, certain questions are asked. In fiction text, you might ask questions that are aesthetic, questions on plot and character and maybe point of view. In nonfiction, you might ask about fact and opinion. You might ask about connections or maybe perspective. Let's take the fiction for a moment and let's think about two types of questions. One question that's a generic question you might ask of students are, what are traits of a character that you just read about? What kind of traits does the author give us? I ask you to think about this as a proposed question. What techniques did the author use in order to let us know the characters and what they are to the author and why he chose that particular character in the text? Far greater thought. Students have to refer to the text and they have to support their thoughts with that text itself that the author's written. If we think about the nonfiction, let's think about perspective. How does the mix of fact and opinion let us know what the author truly believes as a writer? And how will that affect how we write? So those are types of questions that you can carry on. Now finally, there are two other resources that are great. You're probably familiar with these, but I want you to take another perspective on it. Webb's Depth of Knowledge, that has 4 levels and very strong power verbiage to begin questioning techniques, as well as the New Bloom's. It has 5 levels and it also has powerful verbiage. A quick strategy to leave you with today is when you're thinking about questioning your students on an everyday basis in all content areas, take one of those resources, pull that verbiage, and choose 4 to 5 question starters. How can you justify what you just read or wrote? How can you tell me more about what you read yesterday? And can we compare it to what we're doing today? And I'd like to know your thinking. Tell me more about this. Those are types of questions that we know and we can expect. Strong answers, open-ended thoughts, and a lot of discussion. Remember, critical thinking, collaboration, communication all lead to wonderful questioning in the Common Core classroom.